to Unity of Jupiter. My name is Michael Monasterial, and I'm standing in for John Denny, my good friend and mentor. I know he's tuning in right now, right? So I want to start the service kind of like, telling his family safe travels and to Barry. And do you remember that movie Risky Business? Anybody see that? Yeah, I kind of feel like that today. John's out of town. Whatever you do, don't have a party. Whatever you do. And so, the idea of me like running across the stage in my underwear and like doing Bob Seger, I was like, fleetingly, it went by, but I was like, but that would be great. Wouldn't it be funny? So I'm gonna say happy and safe travels, John, and we can't wait till you come back.
Unity honors the universal truths in all religions and respects each individual's right to choose a spiritual path. This is the reason I'm here. This is the reason I believe that every person on the planet Earth should be embracing these principles, because if we did, we wouldn't have the conflict we do. And I think that if we can reach each other and let it spread, and let it just keep spreading, I think we can change the world. And humanity can change. Otherwise, I'd be standing here with a shackle around my neck, right? If humanity didn't change, if we were stuck in a negative mode. But I think we can become enlightened as a race, and I think that unity is definitely a way to do it. This church changed my life. Okay, so my talk today is about peace, which doesn't seem like I'm like that a lot, but that's why it's important, because it puts me there, right? When I'm in traffic, I am definitely not in peace. When I have guys on the job not showing up, I'm not at peace. There's so many situations that take you out of that space, and wouldn't it be great if you could walk around in that space? But before we get started, I have to tell a joke. Every time I speak, I tell a joke. Okay, so there's two ministers, right? There's John and Mike, and they do everything together. They do everything together. They golf. Is mine on? Oh, shoot. Okay, we're good? Okay. So these two ministers, John and Mike, and they do everything together. They play golf. I do not know how to golf. They go out to eat. So Mike is like teeing off one morning. He says, John, he says, I wonder if they have services in heaven. And he's like, come on, it's heaven. No, I mean services, with the choir and people speaking and, preaching, all that stuff. That's a good question, but you're playing terribly today. Just focus on your game. So they go home. And that night, Mike dies. And so John's heartbroken. He goes through mourning. He gets depressed. About a month later, he has a dream. And there's Mike. And he's like, Mike, oh my gosh, you look great. I mean, gosh, heaven looks good on you, man. So, John, it's good. I have some good news and bad news. He said, well, what's the bad news? Oh, well, what's the good news? The good news is that heaven has services. And what's the bad news? You're preaching today. Okay. So peace is perspective, right? It's all how you look at it. So I usually do the 5 unity principles whenever I speak. So God is, I am, I think, I pray, I live. Peace, I did the same thing. Peace is wisdom. Peace is trust. Peace is focus. Peace is acceptance. And peace is responsibility. I wrote up there. I could have read it. So everyone calls Jesus the Prince of Peace. And if you really look at the scripture, he really wasn't. I mean, his peace was eternal. He said, peace be with you. But if you look at what happened, so here's this unlettered, blue-collar, rabbi, really liberal, telling these radical ideas and making everybody mad. I mean, the people that followed him, but mostly everybody else was mad at him all the time. Leaders, the king, everybody was upset because what he really did was, he changed the focus of the way we look for God. He shattered their belief. If you could imagine moving planets, like we used to always look up to God and say, that's where God is, up in the heavens with the lights and the clouds. And he's turned it and moved the whole focus and says, okay, that's where God is. Just look at the planet Earth. And the apostle said, that's the kingdom of heaven? He says, no. Keep looking closer. Imagine you focusing on a continent. And the apostle said, is that the kingdom of heaven? Other one said, what's a continent? And then they said, just keep focusing. Now you're looking at the city. Now you're looking at the temple. Now, Judy, can you stand up? Could you stand up, Judy, for 1 second? Judy, could you stand up for 1 second? Okay. So we're looking at the temple, right? And they say, is that the kingdom of heaven? No, no, not yet. We're getting there. Now, I want you to imagine, looks at Judy at the center of her, and there's a light. Look at the center of her, not like in her stomach, but just imagine the center of her. You can see right into her center, and there's a light. And there's like, is that the kingdom of heaven? You betcha it is. That's the kingdom of heaven. Thanks, Judy. Like my Vanna White. So then, the other thing he did, which was so radical, the first step to wisdom is fear of God. And not any of those kids during that time could have recited that because they were in temple, and that's something they heard. It's from Solomon, and I'm sure they were well versed. So Jesus would say, what's the beginning of all wisdom? And Peter would say, fear of God. No. No. And then another thing shatters, right? That's not, Solomon is not the great prophet he was. He didn't change our way of thinking. He says, no. It's not the word. It's not the preaching. It's the interpretation. It's that fear is like fear of the Romans, fear of the guards coming to get you, fear of the Philistines. But this is a fear like how when you're a little kid, you fear your parents in a way. You revere them. You're kind of in awe. That's the fear he's talking about. He changed the fear from the angry God to the fear of into the loving God, the embracing God. He changed that. And of course, everybody who was standing in the way, who was making money off the fear, is now mad at him. Because they blew the show. The gig is up, right? God is love. Oh my gosh. We can't cash in on love. So the wisdom comes from every single person revering the God in everyone else. If you revere the God in yourself and revere the God and love the God within yourself, then every single person, that's where wisdom comes from. That's the stop. Next one is peace is trust. Imagine a baby. Everyone here has held a baby in their life. That's the next one. That's the next one. It's okay. Everyone's held a baby in their hand. And when a baby, when you hold it just right, it knows it. It knows when you're relaxed. It can feel your heartbeat. It can smell your breath. It's like it catches any mood, crazy thing going on, it gets it. So it makes you feel so calm. And it makes you feel so safe. And you feel a sense of responsibility. But at the same time, it's comforting in a way. And if you imagine yourself as that baby, that feeling of trust, that feeling of just that embrace where God is just holding you, that no matter what happens, he just holds you. So this might piss some people off, but we're gonna do a trust test, okay? Okay, so we all live in Florida, right? So by a show of hands, how many people have been killed by a hurricane? Anyone? No. Okay. Larry? Okay, you came back. Good. Okay, how many people sitting here, we just had a pandemic. Did anyone in this room die of a pandemic? Raise your hand if that's true. Do you see where I'm going with this? This morning when you woke up, you had nothing to eat. Not that you didn't just go to Publix last night, so there's nothing in the fridge. I mean, you don't have a fridge. I mean, you don't have money to go to Publix. I mean, hungry. Did anyone wake up hungry this morning? Anyone? Did anyone end up waking up in a box under a highway? Did anyone not have a nice, safe place to stay last night? We've had wars. Since I've been alive, there's at least 5 wars. Has anyone in this room been killed by a war? If you read any scripture, it says those are the calamities that overtake us, right? Those are the things you got to worry about because these are the things of man, and that's the thing that God takes from us. So if God has done all this for everybody in the room, it's like I'm the children of Israel. I'm just like them. There could be some great thing, some dangerous thing happening in my life, some financial goal or something I had to do, and it consumed me, and I say, God, you have to take it. I can't handle it. And then he does. And then, just like the children of Israel, the Roman soldiers are right behind him. They make it to the Red Sea. They're closing in on them. The Red Sea opens, and they get through the Red Sea. The soldiers come and consume the army. And it wasn't 6 weeks later, they're making a golden calf and worshiping it. And aren't I the same? I get through some great thing, and the first thing I could think of, well, that problem solved. But what about this problem, God? It's always the idea that if you just let go and trust and think about how far you've come and what you've overcome and what you haven't dealt with, those are the things that will put you in the right place for trust. And without trust, there is no peace. Thirdly, peace is focus. And now this is the right slide. Peace is focus. So everyone knows the fruit of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, forbearance, shopping list. Great shopping list. Kindness, forgiveness, faithfulness. We have been taught that if you're a churchgoer for our entire life. Has anyone ever grown fruit? Has anyone ever grown like the perfect piece of fruit? Like looked like the commercials? It was just the right size, and it was glistening, and it was sweet, and the skin was perfect, and you bit into it. It was like a little bite of joy. You know, if you think about how much went into that, like how much actually the sunshine right, the air right, the soil right, the fertilizer, the care you had to take, the bugs it got, to get to that point took a lot of focus and attention. So why is it we think that all this stuff is just going to happen because we say it? We don't want to work on it, right? We don't want to practice it. We want to okay, peace, okay, joy, peace, forbearance, like a shopping list, goodness, faithfulness, good, done, God, I'm going outside. Finally, it tells us, and this is the book of Philippians, it tells you how to get to the fruit. It's like a finger pointing at the fruit of the Spirit. It says, finally, children, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are good, of good report. If there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things. Doesn't that seem like a unity service? Like somebody wrote that, think on these things. I mean, that's the reason we're here. Thoughts are things. So you can manifest fruits of the Spirit, or you can manifest fruits of the flesh, which is stress and loneliness and depression and all these things that when we look at our present circumstances and we don't lift our eyes to the hills and focus on what's important. Next, peace is acceptance. That's the song later. I can't do the song because I would sound like a frog. So, peace is acceptance. Now, acceptance is two-part. Imagine yourself at 5 years old. You know how when you're 5 years old, you get on Santa Claus' lap or your parents, and you make a shopping list, right? I want a doll, I want a car, I want a thing. And they're usually huge, right? And you usually kind of get one of those things out of the process. But the list is huge. What do I want? My parents would tell me. And I just go on and on and on and on until I couldn't breathe anymore. Imagine Christmas morning came and you walked in and there was every single thing you prayed for. I mean, stacked. Like one of those Macy's windows, like I don't know, the trains are going, the tree's perfect, and the stacks of presents. Imagine that. And you grab one present and took it. And then didn't open any more. Now imagine it happens for the second year. I mean, imagine it happens for 20, 30 years. I'm pretty old, so imagine what my room of presents would look like when I only take one. The idea is that people don't manifest prayers because I believe deep down they don't feel worthy. I believe my feelings of unworthiness is why I don't ask God for every single thing in my heart purely and trust that it's going to happen. Because think about it. It says you have not because you ask not. And some things you don't ask, right? Some things you wake up, it's like so crazy. Could I even ask? Yes. Wake up and ask exactly what you want and manifest that thing and work that thing because that's the only way you're going to find joy. And here's a secret. While you're doing it, you're joyful. So you did it already. That's what everybody thinks, like the end goal is going to make me joyful. No. It's the race. It's the walk. It's the run. So while you're manifesting this wonderful shopping list of all these great gifts, you're practicing them. Crazy. I love that word practice. Because it's like two different things, right? Like a doctor or a lawyer has a practice, right? But then we practice like the piano until we get better. Something we do every day. So we practice thinking of practice. I mean, I just got that, like, wow, that's kind of mind-blowing. Maybe it's not for people. But when I go to a doctor, I don't want anybody practicing. I want you to be good at it, and I want you to take care of me. This process is practice. You have got to practice to live this way. This is not a prayer. This is not an hour on Sunday. This is every single day. But to get that fruit, to accept your gifts, you have to feel that worthiness. I was reading something Charles Fillmore said, and he said, when you manifest in the Spirit. Before you start thinking of something, before you start manifesting something that you're praying about all the time, pray in the Spirit. Because if you don't, you will manifest something like, do you know how many lottery winners end up worse off than they were? There's millionaires at lottery who win the lottery, and they're broke in 5 year, and their marriage is ruined, their family doesn't like them, and they're in therapy, or they got drug addiction. Imagine, they just got $10 million. The idea is that he said, be careful that the thing you're manifesting is not your God. Because that money can't love you back. That money cannot comfort you. Whatever you're manifesting, you got to make sure that you're in the right place, that what you're loving can love you back. Because praying in love and manifesting in love is the way you actually get the life you want, not the thing you want. And we have to accept that. Maybe I'm never going to be a millionaire. You know, I'm never going to play pro basketball. Not that I ever thought I could. I'm kind of spastic. But the idea is, some things you can accept in your life of what you always dreamed of, and some of them are going to happen, and some of them are not. But the process of manifesting them, that's the money. That's the joy. I tell people, I'm a contractor. And people could say, oh, you know, I have such faith in you, Mike. I love you personally, right? But until they write that check, until somebody writes that check for the amount and signs it, and that check goes through, that's trust. That's when what they say, the wheels meet the road. If you can say these things, but to practice them, you got to write that check, and it got to be real, and you have to just jump in. Otherwise, it won't work. And lastly, peace is responsibility. This is twofold. One, you have a responsibility to yourself. Because if you don't manifest your own peace, no one will do it for you. I can't manifest your joy. I can't manifest your happy marriage. I can't manifest the new car you want. I can't do anything. You have to believe you're worthy of it, and you have to do that, and do it every single day without ceasing. Myrtle Fillmore healed herself of some incurable disease. I don't know what they named it, but she went to specialists for her whole life, and she did it. I'm sure she didn't do it just once. People do it here, right? I'm going to manifest a new husband. And then, okay, I didn't get him. This manifest stuff doesn't work. You know, like, okay, you might want to be responsible for what your happiness is and take charge of that happiness by consistently, ardently, repeatedly not giving up, because that's where the money is. Lastly, peace is a real responsibility. Because if I say I have peace, and I don't give that peace to the next person or make it available, do I really have the gift? Is it really a gift of the Spirit? Is it really? If I can't transmit it? If I say I have peace, meanwhile I turn into a maniac when stuff goes wrong, which I do sometimes. But it says in the Bible, blessed are the peace givers. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. You have responsibility representing what you preach, how we live. You say you're part of unity, meanwhile you're yelling at somebody in traffic. You say you're part of unity, but you're having an argument in the grocery store. Myrtle Fillmore said, don't argue, you don't have to. And it's hard not to. I mean, when somebody has a different political view than you, and I just want to say this because this is a big deal to me, it's our civic responsibility to vote. And I wouldn't tell you how I vote. I don't know how you vote. But it doesn't matter if red or blue wins, because God is in charge. And whoever wins, we need to pray for them. Because you can't change the fact they're there. All you can change is you. That's how this thing works. If you accept whatever is in front of you, and you take the responsibility to pass your peace on to other people, that is the trust. That's writing the check. So I urge you, everybody with me before I end this talk. I am at peace and peace. Woo, I can't even read it. I am the peace. One more time. I think I do it right this time. I am peace. I am at peace. And I am the peace. Thank you. Okay.